Okay, welcome to the first section of attached cords and sockets. It is a nationally accredited unit and it encompasses working safely with 240 volts AC, health and safety requirements, and selecting and using test measurement equipment. There is a prerequisite unit on occupational health and safety which is included as part of the course. And anybody who did the electrical testing and tagging course that I ran will already have this module. But the module is included in the information provided with the course, and it must be completed before you can begin the actual course itself. In the information provided with the course, you will find a copy of the unit of competence. If you look through that, you'll see it. There is a set of performance criteria which you must demonstrate to achieve competence. At the back, you will also see an evidence guide. The evidence guide is what you must demonstrate to me to prove that you are competent in the unit. So if you read through that, it will make more sense as to why I have to teach certain things. Now, the unit of competence is broken up into 5 different elements, and each element deals with a specific subject related to doing the job, preparing the job, and the documentation after you have completed it. I have cut and pasted each element and each sub-element directly from the unit of competence. So what you see on the screen is exactly what is in the unit of competence text. Okay, this is element 1. Now, element 1 deals with the preparation to do the job, collecting the test equipment, collecting the tools that you need, and doing it without hurting yourself or anybody else. So element 1.1, which this is, the work is planned and prepared to ensure OH&S policies and procedures are followed and the work is appropriately sequenced. In the prerequisite OH&S unit, this is fairly well covered, OH&S policies and procedures. So you should be fairly familiar with that. If you're not, go back and have a look through it and bring yourself up to speed, because this whole section is about preparing to do the job but not actually doing it, just the procedures required under OH&S regulations. Element 1.2 covers the type of cord that you need, the rating of the cord, the description of the cord, whether it's heavy duty or light duty, and this depends on the current that it draws, the environment that it's used in, etc. This is covered fairly well in the video on leads. I go through the environment and the type of lead that to be used under certain conditions. So it's all a bit of a mystery now, but when you get into the unit proper and watch the videos, it'll be pretty well explained. In element 1.2, you identified the type of cord that you will need for the conditions and the rating. In element 1.3, you go out and you actually select the cords that you will need and the plugs to comply with the requirements of the job in hand. This includes the environment that you're going to be using it in, the rating of the equipment, and the type of plug that it's going to be plugged into. In element 1.4, you're collecting all the peripheral stuff that you might need to do the job. You might need danger isolation tags, you might need to set up some barriers, you might need some protection for the desk that you're working on. All of the stuff that you might need to do the job without, not actually the tools itself. The tools are covered under 1.5. But anything to do with the safety of you working on the job, the safety of other people working on the job, and anything else you may need to ensure the smooth operation and the safety of the job. To replace a plug or a cord on an appliance, you need a surprising amount of equipment. You need your actual tools themselves, your pliers, screwdrivers, your stripping tools, a knife, and other peripheral equipment, as well as your testing and diagnostic tools, your multimeters, your megas, your high voltage tester, your pen, your wire stripping gauge, your record keeping spreadsheet to keep a log of your repairs, and the list goes on. Now, if you look back over this element, you'll see everything follows in a very logical sequence. Firstly, you inspected the job and had a look at the job to make sure there was no danger to yourself or anybody else. If there was, you followed occupational health and safety procedures or workplace safety procedures. You removed the hazard, you isolated the hazard, you substituted the hazard, or as a last resort, you wore PPE. You then had a look at the equipment that you're going to work on, assessed the environment, the suitability of the work for the environment. You then selected the equipment that you're going to replace the broken equipment with to check that that is suitable for the environment and the type of job it's going to do, whether the current rating is high enough, the duty of the insulation is suitable for the environment. You then gathered all of the peripheral equipment that you would need to do the job. You then gathered all of the tools you would need to do the job. And all this is designed for sustainability practices where you've got everything to do the job when you start the job. You're not leaving the job, finding other stuff, looking for your screwdriver. You have it there with you. And that is what this element was all about. Once you've complied with all of the occupational health and safety requirements and you've identified the problem, you've decided on what you're going to do, and you've decided on what parts you're going to replace, what you're going to replace them with, you've collected all of your tools, you can then go ahead and actually start doing the repair. Now, what you do in the repair will be as varied as the number of repairs there are, but basically what you'll start doing is to remove the damaged section and prepare to replace it with the new equipment, which we will cover in the next couple of elements.